Hello, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. Um, Everything is kind of in flux at the moment, I know, for everyone, or pretty much everyone. Hi, Buster. How you doing? Thanks for being here. Yeah, I just want to talk about a huge flip-flop I noticed and also the lockdown, um, how it's affecting me, what I might have to do. Um, Thanks, Buster, and the other two that are in the background. I appreciate you being here. And I guess for me, the Grand Junction, Colorado, was pretty much totally shut down. Colorado is one of the hardest hit states. Um, my particular work environment is, well, it was health related, so it's still in business, but they actually said that they're going to close the location, the Grand Junction location, very soon anyway. And, me not watching the news, not knowing what was going on, I wanted to get a jump on finding, over 400 people finding jobs. And so I went ahead and just quit right away. And I shouldn't have done that because I had no idea that all this was like this and that no one was working or anything like that. And like I said, my work would have closed anyway in June. But here I was trying to want to get a jump on it, and like I said, I don't watch the news, so I really, you know, kind of uh, shot myself in the foot there. Um, but one of the things also that I wanted to talk about that, and well, let's just go back to that for a minute. The lockdown. I Because Colorado is one of the hardest hit states. I'm actually thinking one of my sons lives in Omaha, and Omaha or Nebraska doesn't have a stay-at-home order. And so I'm thinking of going there just because I can find a job there. Hi, Brian. Hi, Nez Lover. Thank you uh, for visiting today. I appreciate that. I really do. But yeah, I'm thinking of going there because Omaha, Nebraska doesn't have a lockdown and I can find a job there. And now my younger son lives near New Orleans and he offered to let me go down there to stay with him. But New Orleans is just about the worst hit in the country, I believe. So it's like I wouldn't really be able to find a job there anyway, either. And so, I mean, I just think that it's just ridiculous unless there's something that they are not telling us, about this coronavirus. And I kind of don't even want to say it in my broadcast. I guess I shouldn't have, but um, and actually, I probably should have put uh, an adult viewer. Maybe I will once I get off here on this too as well. I don't want to scare people, or maybe I might cuss a little. Who knows? But yeah, I just I don't know that it would do any good other than having a place to stay because I mean, Grand Junction, Colorado is like there's it's a ghost town. There's nobody working, and I know most of the cities across the United States are like that. Um, but Nebraska is one of those states where my my older son lives. I'm thinking of possibly going to Omaha, and I've lived in that area before, and so I'm very familiar with Omaha. I like it. I hate the humidity, and the winters suck. They're freezing, but I mean, way colder than Colorado, which most people wouldn't think, but it's right by the Missouri River and humid and cold. And my gosh, it snows in November and the snow stays till April and blah, blah, blah. But if they don't have a lockdown and I can find a job there, why shouldn't I go there? You know? And so, I'm thinking about doing that just because there's still, the restaurants are open, um, Noble and hi Fourth Wall. Noble says, "I am the way, the truth, and the Mandela Effect." Yeah. Well, let me just get into that. That's a good segue into what my title is. Is it's a huge flip flop for me. Is that John 14:6 used to say, back when I was a kid, I am the way, the truth, and the life. I mean, that's just the way it was. Well, 2 or 3 years ago, it changed to light. And I'm like, what? And I don't know if this is a flip flop for any of you guys. But yes, Brian, Omaha's restaurants are still open because, at least that I know of, I need to confirm with my son, but they don't have a stay at home order in Nebraska. It's one of the very few states that doesn't. And so, like, I'm not necessarily looking to get a job in a restaurant. I would be, probably something else. But yeah, so anyway, going back to the way, the truth, and it's back to life again. So I don't know if that's a flip flop for any of you. It was life, and then it was light for about at least 2 or 3 years that I know of. Now, it could have been longer than that, because I wasn't always reading my Bible as I should have. But it is back to life again. And I was so shocked when I saw that. I was like, because someone said that the where I saw it was on Reddit, Retconned. That's a good chat, because I was like, what? Because I was so bothered that it went to light. I don't know why. I guess just because I memorized it as life as a kid. And so, but yeah, so that's like, I think I don't know, maybe my seventh or eighth flip flop. And I'm curious as to what you guys think about the flip flops, or what flip flops have you had? My biggest flip flop, and this is the one that got me searching into the Mandela effect, was Noxzema, because when I was a kid, it definitely had a Z. And then somewhere in 2016, I was in a Walmart, and I was, in the, you know, beauty aisle or whatever, you know what I mean, like personal hygiene or whatever aisle in Walmart, and there was an end cap and it didn't have a Z. I was like, I wonder why they dropped the Z. And then, like, a few months later, it had the Z again. And so that is what I knew that wasn't possible, and that's what started, getting me involved in observing trying to find out what was going on with these. I just knew a flip flop like that wasn't possible. But anyway, hi Sherry D and Fourth Wall Observer. If I didn't say hi, I think I did earlier, but I just wanted to say hi again. So Buster, you say it was always light for you. Was did anyone have it go light and then life again? Oh, Noble says it was light for him as well. Yeah. I don't know. It was life when I was a kid, and then light, and then life again. And that's a pretty big one, because it's one of the Bible ones. Hi, Jemima. How you doing? But yeah, Hillary was definitely flipping and flopping around there. I honestly don't know what it was for me originally. I think it was the 1L. I don't even know what it is right now. Is it 1L or 2? But I do remember that as being a flip flop for me. And then also the other ones, I think I've talked about Lowe's with the apostrophe and not. That's one. Houston, we have a problem, to we had a problem, and now I think it's have again. I don't know. I haven't even looked at that in a long, long, long time. So who knows? And then I have a list, or have a video about my flip flops. I don't remember where it is, or I can't even think of them right now. But I know Noxzema was the most important one, because that's, even though I've experienced Mandela effect since, my first one that I ever saw, I just didn't know what it was John Deere. And then, of course, I saw several in the 80s. I've gone over this numerous times. For those of you who don't know me, I mean, if you ask, I can go over them all, but I saw probably minimum 8 Mandela effects in the 80s, I guess. Uh, so, you know, um, it's been around forever for me, but Noxema was the huge one for me though, because I knew that a flip flop was not possible. I just, I was so shocked, and that happened in about, I think that was in 2016. But meanwhile, in 2000, I have these groupings, I have these certain time periods, and I've meant to go over this before on my channel. How there were so many in the 80s, and then there was some around the time where I think where Nelson Mandela became president of South Africa. I saw several around that time because I was like, "What? He died?" And so there was several around there, and then I started seeing things in around 2014, 2015 again. But I kind of think some of these have always been around. Spelling changes. I used to be such a good speller, and now it's just like, you know, I don't remember. And then like, uh, oh, what's it called? Cheez-Its. I think I've seen like a triple on that one. I think I've seen three different versions of Cheez-Its. So, I don't know. And then some of these I've seen for, they were changed so long ago for me. It's like, I have a vague memory of it being a different way. Um, but, to explain that to anybody other than you guys, um, it just does not make sense. Yeah. Well, Noble, Noxzema had a Z when I was a kid because I used it, and this was clear back in the 70s. Then in 2016, I was in Walmart and I saw it was without a Z, and a lot of people say that it, why does it have a Z now? Because for them it was always Noxzema without the Z. And so, that, even though no one really talks about that one, that's a huge, huge, huge one for me. But my first one, in case there's some new listeners, was John Deere in 1982. I lived on a wheat farm, and we either had a combine or it's a skin cream, Jemima. Skin cream. I had acne when I was in junior high, and so I used it quite a bit back then in the 70s. But anyway, I lived on a wheat farm, and so 1982, we had a combine or a tractor come on the yard, and I'm like, why did they add the extra E to Deere? I mean, and I was like a championship spelling person at that time. I mean, that's not something I would have mixed up, you know. Hey, Sharky, I didn't see you there. I'll have to go back up and see where you came in. But so that one was my first one. And then I had and that was clear back in 1982. And then I have several from the 80s, but the other huge one that I've talked about, and I think I did a top 10 Mandela effect for me. One of my top 10s is Rod Sterling, because in northeastern Colorado there's a town called Sterling, Colorado, and I always loved Twilight Zone, and I knew it was Rod Sterling because of the town of Sterling, Colorado, and now it's Sterling, of course. And it just it sounds so stupid to say Sterling. It just sounds crazy to me. I don't know. But you guys in the chat, tell me, like, how is the lockdown affecting you guys where you are? Noble, I know you're in Canada. What's Canada doing, or how are they dealing with it? Are they having lockdowns like we are as well? Let's see, Jemima. I know you're not in the U.S. How are things there where you are too as well? I'm just curious. But oh, you planted some stuff for your garden. Well, that could be the only way we have food, I guess, pretty soon. you know, or if we're allowed, if we're allowed. So, are you guys on lockdown in Canada as well, Noble? House arrest. See, now I've been out and about, but it's just been to go get groceries and stuff. Brian says affecting him because he can't work. Otherwise, it's not really enforced. Restaurants are closed for dining, and I'm a server, so I'm out of a job. Yeah. Well, that's Brian. That's why I'm thinking of going to Omaha because I'm pretty sure the restaurants are open. Because, like, I think it's Nebraska, North and South Dakota, Iowa. It's like all those middle northern states. Should bring it up and see who doesn't have the current stay-at-home orders. That'd be. I know Nebraska doesn't because that's. So I'm looking that up right now just to see. I want to see the. It says that there are. I think there's 6 states. Trying to find it. Oops, I don't want to. Okay, so Nebraska, Arkansas, Iowa, and North and South Dakota have not issued any stay-at-home orders at all. And then it says Wyoming, Utah, Oklahoma, and South Carolina have only issued stay-at-home orders in certain areas, but fall short of a statewide lockdown. So, that's why I'm thinking, that's why I'm thinking Omaha. That's where my oldest son lives. Because, my younger son said I could go to the New Orleans area, but does it really do me any good if they're one of the hardest hit areas as well, Hi, Darkslayer. Good to see you here. Yeah, we're just talking about the lockdown, and I wanted to mention the flip-flop that I had for me. Now, Darkslayer, are you familiar with the Bible at all? Do you know if it was I am the way, the truth, and the life, or the light for you, or was it a flip-flop? I'm sorry, Brian. I know that has to suck. Well, I'm out of a job too, and that's one of the reasons I want to try to get to, I suppose I could always go back to my family farm and maybe do some farm work. I've done that in the past as well. But this isn't really a great time. The best time to go back on the farm is during corn harvest in October. But yeah, I just, how can you even apply for any jobs? Yeah. Well, and then even like the Walmart here, I went like one morning about 5 o'clock. I don't watch the news, so I wasn't following everything. And so, I go there like at 5 o'clock in the morning. I walked. No, I rode my bike. I rode my bike down there, but it's still like a couple miles. And they're like, "Oh, we don't open till 7." I'm like, 7? Crap. So I went back home and did some other things, and then I went to Dollar Tree instead to get my groceries. But yeah, they're not open 24 hours. They're only open from like 7 to 8:30. And I even said to people, I'm like, that really doesn't even make sense because well, and they put it up to, well, it's because of the restocking everything. But it's like those are the hours where, you would think they would want people to come in when there was hardly anybody there, you know? I don't know. It's crazy. Well, Sharky, I don't like Walmart either, but because it's somewhat close to me rather than other places. Yeah, Brian, I don't watch the news. I do watch the local weather and sometimes the local stuff, for different things going on in my area, but like national stuff, no. Or in all this V. Russ stuff. Yeah. What a joke, Brian, about all this. About that person that you just mentioned. It's just, I mean, does he really have to be involved in everything in the world, you know? I don't know. Him and Sally. It's kind of funny. Yeah, kind of funny. Well, let's see here. I don't know what all else to go into. I mostly wanted to just see how everybody was doing. Things suck here. I don't know. Like I said, I might go to Nebraska. Um, has anybody? I really want to investigate these flip flops in the ME community because, like, what do you think constitutes? Okay, so I kind of look at it as like we're okay. Say you have your body, okay, and either above or below you, or to the right or the left, however you want to look at it, you're kind of like stuck between like these pages of a book, like these planes of reality. And like, when we shift or whatever, we go to like the next page, like up or down or left, right, however you want to see it. Um, uh, people who, think of ascension, I guess you could be up, down. Other people might go right, left, or whatever. So, you know, if I look at these planes of reality that are on either side of me, either way, vertically or horizontally, it doesn't matter, whichever way you want to look at it. Like, are we constantly moving either up or down in the books of the page or the pages of the book, I mean, or like, do we sometimes like go up to a plane and then go back down to the same plane that we had before, or even if you go up to another plane of existence or whatever, is it just that everything's slightly different there? And, even though, 2 pages down, it was that, there's the flip flop there. Like you know, like first it was, well, I think I've shifted more than just 2 or 3 times. I mean, shoot, I think we shift almost every day in some cases, like you're constantly moving through the pages of this never ending book. You're poking yourself into this other reality, or someone's doing it, or we're doing it ourselves, or, who knows what's happening. But, either you're constantly, do you feel like we're constantly moving in one direction, or like sometimes we go back to like, because I know Chick has said that, briefly she went back to the Sagittarius arm for a while. And then she bounced back to Orion. So I don't know. I think it's so interesting to think about. And it's like each plane, or each like, each page of the book, or, each plane of existence has like a set, kind of like it's a movie projector and it's already been filmed. But we're moving from like movie to movie or timeline to timeline or something like that. I don't know that it's just, and I know Noble might be one that thinks that it's just one world and that things are changing. I just don't know. I mean, I don't rule anything out, of course, but I think he's talked more about that than I think a lot of us that, we think we go into other timelines or whatever. And, I don't think anybody's right or wrong. How can we even know? You know, um, how can we know anything that's going on? I'm not really leaving anything off the table. One thing I don't agree with is, when people definitely say it's CERN and, oh, because these changes started happening in 2009 or whatever. Well, for me, it started happening in the 80s, unless, there's the whole retro causality thing. And, I'm curious to think, you know, would it be retrocausality, or did I really um, experiencing those things in the 80s? I mean, they seem crystal clear to me. One of the things that, and I don't know when this was a change for me, but I know that, and spellings are so stupid, but the word definitely, it's kind of like the word dilemma. It's like, why would we memorize a word so weirdly? Like dilemma, you know, dilemma. Why would we memorize it or think it was with an N when, it'd be different if it was the other way around, and the same thing with me for like definitely, you know, for me, definitely was spelled Definately, definitely. And so, why would you memorize when it makes more sense that it's the way it's spelled now, Definitely or whatever. And so I don't know. These things are just all right. So let's see here. Sherry hates this timeline. I'm trying to there's timelines that I don't like and situations in my life that I don't like. I try not to get too bogged down in it, because if I do, it can just be really bad, so I'm trying not to, whenever I don't like a certain situation that I'm in, like for instance right now, of course, I try to just be as positive as I can and just set my mind into what I want to go into. Now, do I totally believe we can manifest things? Not really, but I do believe we do have influence, because I actually do think I changed something in my life that was pretty bad for me at one time. And I think I did change it, the circumstances of that. So I think it's possible. Now, do I think that, oh, they're showing Buenos Aires on TV, and I've been there. I love that city. And I feel sad too, like we can't travel and stuff anymore. Just looking at that city picture right there, for people like Digi want to come over, to America to see everybody, or, even going back and forth, between Canada or Mexico or whatever. I feel bad, and well, shoot, and even state to state. Patrick Roberts had a live stream today, and he was saying that, some people can't even go state to state, and then some people have. I didn't know there were quote unquote traveling papers. So, oh, I still have that going live shortly on there. Oh well, sorry. Let's see here. Yeah, Sherry, says I knew something was coming. I felt that, but I didn't know what it was going to be as bad as this. Yeah, I felt like things were going to happen. Mostly because, like, there's certain people, like they say the great sign in heaven happened in, I guess it was 2017 or whatever, and these things are leading up to, perhaps what people think the end times are or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I know everything lined up back then, but did anyone see the supermoon? I saw it this morning and last night. It was pretty neat. But, that's another thing that's different from, you know, as a kid. As a kid, for me, the moon was never out in the day. It wasn't out in the day. And we didn't have like all these supermoons all the time. Yeah, we had, full moon, obviously, every month, but they weren't these supermoons. And then also, like, This was probably, oh gosh, what is 3 years ago or something. This is back when I lived back on the farm still yet, before I moved to Grand Junction. But I was coming home from somewhere and I just kind of stopped because there's no traffic out there. Believe me, there's just like nobody lives there. Um, in the area where I grew up around northeastern Colorado and western Nebraska. And the moon was like, I mean, ginormous. I could not even believe it. I was like, what am I even seeing? It was like it was unreal. I mean, it seriously was unreal. I don't know. Oh, we got 10 people listening. That's great. Thank you for coming and listening today. Yeah, I saw nobody was on, so I thought I'd just go ahead and talk about my flip-flop and see how everybody was doing regarding the shutdown. I mean, is anybody or any of you working at all? I know very few people in my real life who are working. Very few people. And well, like even my younger son works for the government. And he's even at home now. My older one, like I said, in Omaha, he's going to work because they don't have a shutdown order there in Nebraska. So as I said before, I am thinking of going there just to see if I can find a job there, because there's nothing here, and I don't really see anything in the foreseeable future either, that will be here. But at least like a lot of people are doing live streams that are home, even if they're doing work from home or whatever. So, oh, Jemima, thank you. She says, I'm rarely on YouTube since this all started. Time was speeded up before, but since this is crazy, the days are zipping by now. Yeah, that's so true. And, I haven't been live in a while anyways. I've been listening to a few, and a lot of times I have to catch up. Like, I never usually lurk. If I'm in a live stream, I usually say something. Unless I come in like on the very end and they're closing it out, then I usually don't say anything. But like, I haven't been able to catch Digis for a good while, which kind of sucks because I love listening to his live streams. I did catch Patrick Roberts this morning. That was great because I hadn't been able to connect with him in a good while. And he says he's going to do a live stream later on tonight as well. So that'll be cool. So I'm looking forward to being part of that. Hopefully, if I can catch it. Now, one of the reasons that I am able to do this too is that usually I have someone with me 24/7, and they're off doing something else today. So Walmart is the only change. Where are you, Fourth Wall? Are you just saying that it's not open 24 hours anymore? Yeah, Walmart's only open here now from 7 to 8:30. And today was the first day when I went there that I noticed that they're counting the people going in to make sure that only so many are in the store, which I don't know what that number is. But, they have the entrances and exits like in such a way that they're counting the people. And I can tell that, which is it's just, I mean, how long can this go on? Now, I do know one person in real life who does have it. And I don't even know that person that well. But it's a relative. Well, not really a relative. It's my brother-in-law's grandmother. So it's kind of like a relative, but it's not my relative. It's his relative. And she has it, and she's older. So that is like the part where that's who they're worried about. But North Alabama. Yeah, I used to live in Mobile, Fourth Wall. Yeah, my sons both went to USA in Mobile. I lived, and then I moved back to Colorado in early 2016. I might be, like I said, either going to the New Orleans area, which is where my younger son lives now, or the Omaha area where my older one lives. We'll just see. I'm not really sure. All right, you guys. Well, I'm sorry this is so short. I just wanted to do a brief live stream on how everybody was doing and just talk about my flip-flop for a little bit. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining in, and I appreciate everybody so much that stopped by. And you guys take care, okay? And have a very good day. And I hope everything works out for all of you. I hope this doesn't last long. I hope none of you are affected too much. And, hopefully we can be there for each other with these live streams, different live streams that we have going for everybody. But thanks everybody for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Love you all. Bye-bye.